Good evening. Good evening. I now call to order the special meeting of the Town Council for January 10th, 2023. And clerk, could you please take attendance?
Sure. Councilmember Rennie,
Here.
Councilmember Moore,
Here.
Councilmember Hudas,
Here.
Vice Mayor Badami,
Here.
Mayor Risto.
Here. Thank you. And then I think we need to run our video for the rules of decorum.
The public is welcome to participate at Town Council meetings, understanding that the purpose of the meetings is to conduct the important business of the town in an efficient and effective manner. At each meeting, the following expectations of civil conduct shall apply. 1. For the benefit of the entire community, the town of Los Gatos asks that all speakers follow the town's meeting guidelines by treating everyone with respect and dignity. This is done by following meeting guidelines set forth in state law, in the town code, and on the cover sheet of the council agenda. 2. The town embraces diversity and strongly condemns hate speech and offensive hateful language or racial intolerance of any kind at council meetings. 3. Town council and staff are well aware of the public's right to disagree with their professional opinion on various town issues. However, antisocial behavior, slander, hatred, and bigotry statements are completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated in any way, shape, or form at town council meetings. 4. All public comments at the town council meeting must pertain to items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the town and shall not contain slanderous statements, hatred, and bigotry against non-public officials. 5. The town will go through the following steps if a disturbance results from a member of the public not following these rules. If participating remotely, town staff may mute the individual with an explanation for the record of why muting occurred consistent with this policy. If participating in person, the mayor may call a recess for violation of this policy, resulting in the immediate cessation of the audio and video recording and the council exiting the chamber. Staff will determine if the individual should be removed or if all members of the public should leave, depending on the extent of the disturbance. In the event that all public members exit, only the press would be allowed back in the meeting. Once the individual or individuals leave, the council would return to the chamber and the mayor would resume the meeting. Persons disrupting a council meeting may be cited for violation of the California Penal Code Section 403. These expectations of conduct also apply to meetings of all town boards, committees, and commissions.
Okay, thank you. I think it's apparent we're meeting by Zoom, and I think we'll be addressing that in our first item. But given that this is a special meeting, members of the public may address us only on the items that are on the agenda at verbal communications. I see we have 2 attendees, and I don't see any hands raised. If anyone would like to speak on either of these items, please raise your virtual hand. And I don't see that, so I'm going to close the public comment, and we'll move on to item 1, which that will be our town attorney, Ms. Whalen. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So item 1 is a housekeeping item. Since the council is meeting remotely, the council needs to take a roll call vote and determine by a majority that meeting in person would present imminent risks to the health or safety of the meeting attendees.
Thank you. Do we need a motion for that?
A motion and then a vote.
Okay. Do I have a motion here? I'll make the motion. I move that we proclaim a state of emergency for the purposes of determining by majority vote. And as a result of this emergency, we decided that meeting in person would present imminent risk to the health and safety of attendees. Do I have a second? Vice Mayor Badami?
I second the motion.
Thank you. If we can have a roll call vote, please.
Do you want me to do the roll call?
Oh, I guess I haven't run a Zoom meeting. Yes, please.
Okay. Councilmember Any,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudis. Councilmember Hudis,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Badami,
Aye.
Mayor Rista.
Aye. So passes 5-0. Thank you. So moving on to item number 2, will that be a report by our town attorney as well?
Hi, Mayor. I'll be handling that report.
Thank you, sir.
So based on the storms that first descended December 27th and have persisted since then, on January 4th, the town manager, in her role as the Director of Emergency Services, declared an emergency proclamation. This was predicated not only on the weather event and that flooding and down trees along with the weather event, but it also coincided with the state and the county both issuing emergency proclamations on that same day. Since then, the weather has not subsided nor its effects. And also on January 8th, the Biden administration directed FEMA to make this a federal case and assign a case number for California. So the way the code reads, within 7 days of the director declaring an emergency proclamation, the town council has to ratify that, and staff is recommending that you do provide that ratification, given that the emergency persists, and we do believe we will probably be seeking reimbursement through what will now be a FEMA managed event.
Thank you. I opened both items to verbal communications. Do I need to open this for verbal communication?
I think it wouldn't hurt to ask if there's any member of the public that would like to comment on item number 2.
Thank you. So I see 2 attendees. Would anyone wish to raise their virtual hand and speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will open this to questions or discussion by council members. Okay, I see. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you. Still getting used to the iPad. Haven't done the Zoom meetings yet. Thank you. So just a few quick questions. I'm very supportive of this. So are we anticipating that we're going to need to take in some of the powers that are granted? Are we anticipating the need to, procure additional resources, personnel, those sorts of things? I know part of the reason for this is for the town to be able to act quickly, but are there any particular things that we're anticipating?
So I think to date, it's probably fair to say that we have procured additional tree services. We do have existing contracts, but this is probably above and beyond what was anticipated budgetarily. I also know that in certain instances, overtime might be an item that can be reimbursable. We have been experiencing significant overtime, both in public safety and in public works. And so that's a potential reimbursable form. In addition, we do know there's private property damage. Private property, even though it's not the town's, is something that we can lump into our initial damage assessment for a FEMA claim. And there could be liability associated with the town associated with some of that private property damage. So short answer, we do anticipate probably doing some additional resources that were not contemplated in the budget. This is not a carte blanche. FEMA actually only gives procurement outside of normal channels. I'm going to say roughly a 72-hour period, and then they want all entities to quickly revert back to their normal processes and procedures. And currently, the scope of this event, we haven't really had to go outside of our normal process and procedures. We're using vendors that were already vetted through either an RFP process or a sole source process. And so I don't anticipate anything unusual other than we probably will expend funds above and beyond what we anticipated in the initial budget.
And if I could just add, our town staff did an excellent job with storm preparation for this winter. And those efforts are definitely paying off. And we're hoping to have minimal damage in our town. as the assistant town manager mentioned, we still have a series of storms ahead of us. So there's a lot of unknowns in terms of what the final impact will be to our community, but having this proclamation and the resolution by the council will position the town to make sure that we can flexibly obtain the resources that we need as this event continues to unfold. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Mayor, can I have one follow-up question?
Certainly.
Thank you. So the other thing that I just want to know was, so the resolution says that the termination of this proclamation is required when conditions warrant. Who makes that determination, and how is the proclamation terminated?
So, for instance, our COVID proclamation is still in existence. And one of the reasons our COVID proclamation is still in existence is because it's still in existence at the federal level. Oftentimes, rescinding a proclamation will coincide when FEMA closes a case. So right now, I don't have a definitive answer for you. I do know that as part of this procedure this evening, the town manager, as the Director of Emergency Services, will report back, I believe we said in 60 days. And so there will be a report back within at least 60 days if we're going to go beyond that, and if we're not going to go beyond that sooner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Vice Mayor Badami.
Yeah, I would just like to thank town staff for stepping up. I mean, this is an emergency that I haven't seen in many, many years that Los Gatos has had to experience. So I thank all the staff, all the town crew everywhere within our town for stepping up. I know in my own business, there's a lot of downed trees. There's a lot of property damage to cars with trees that have toppled on top of the cars. People without power. I just got notified right before the meeting started that power just came back in my own neighborhood, which is right off Alberto Way, and hopefully on North Santa Cruz Ave, where I conduct business. I'm now remotely in San Jose at somebody else's office. That being said, notwithstanding any other comments, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt a resolution ratifying the Director of Emergency Services proclamation of local emergency pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.5 and Town Code Section 8.10.035 and Government Code Section 8630. And again, I profusely thank the town for stepping up the way that they have.
Thank you. Councilmember Moore.
Second the motion.
And
Okay,
then,
thank you. We have a
since-
motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, since we're meeting remotely, it'd be good to have a roll call vote.
Yes, I wanted to make a comment before we voted. So we have a motion and a second. I echo the same sentiments toward our safety and public works crew, as well as all of our department directors who have been working overtime around the clock to take care of our residents, take care of our community. I know that three of the council, well, I don't know if any of us are in our homes. Where, I took refuge at the library today, which was open to patrons with power. And our town manager has taken a very strong leadership role here. And I appreciate the way that you and your entire team have worked together here. I think the storm last night about 2:15 was an exclamation point on this meeting. And given how saturated the ground is and how many trees have been falling and with rain ahead of us, I hope last night was the peak of it, but we don't know what else to expect. But I do know that everybody is doing their best and we are in very good hands. So with that, I'll be supporting the motion. If there's no other comments, Ms. Wood, can you please take the roll?
Sure. Councilmember Rennie,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Yes.
Councilmember Hudas. Councilmember Hudas,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Badami,
Aye.
Mayor Risto.
Aye. Okay, so that passes unanimously. We have our emergency resolution proclamation, and that is our final item. Do any members of staff have any concluding comments?
Just wanted to thank the council for the support and the acknowledgement of the hard work of the team. It's they've been working very long hours, so we're not over yet. So thank you so much. I will convey your sentiments to the staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you to my fellow council members for coming together for this emergency meeting. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Stay safe and try to stay dry.
Thank you. Take care all.